Sir.
What is up, y'all? We are back with another Terrifier 4 video. Before we get into it, definitely smash the like button, make sure you're subscribed to their channel. So to get into this, I want to just talk about what we can expect with Terrifier 4 and what could potentially happen. Now, we know previously at a convention that Damien was talking to a content creator and a question came up about Terrifier 4, and he teased that in the first 15 minutes we will learn about Art the Clown's backstory. Now, a lot of people are, split in two with that whole idea of Art the Clown's backstory, just kind of, diving deep into the backstory of Art the Clown. Now, one thing I will say, it can be good, but it can also be bad. But me knowing Damien, I think he will tell it in a way where it doesn't kind of ruin the character, because we kind of seen a lot with Art the Clown's backstory already, especially if you've been watching like since the 9th Circle, or just All Hallows Eve and the first Terrifier. He originally was a regular serial killer, and then after he took himself out in the first one, it led on to him being supernatural, and that's when he started having these hosts, being the Pale Girl and Victoria. And we know that, after what Jonathan said, that the demon is what's fueling Art the Clown. The demon and just the demonic energy and everything plays a big part. So it kind of makes me think this entity that is inside of Victoria, the Pale Girl, and Art the Clown, I think that in Terrifier 4, with it possibly being the last one, I know Damien said that, but things can change. He said this is going to be the last one. We probably can see a greater evil, a greater entity in Terrifier 4. And I think that obviously we're going to see Sienna in this like traumatic state. She's going to be going through a lot, almost similar to like Laurie Strode in Halloween 2018, because she lost Jonathan. She lost her family. She has no one. I think a lot of people are forgetting that. Now it's only Sienna and Gabby, and that's if Gabby's in a good state. Maybe she got hurt when she fell in the pits of hell. Who knows? But with that being her only family member she has left, that's going to leave her to have to go down to the pits of hell and help Gabby. One good thing that I seen was that the sword fell in the pits of hell with Gabby, basically telling us she's going to be protected down there from the demons, whatever is walking, the streets of that pit that's down under the floor that Gabby fell in. So she has the sword, so she'll be good for a while. But I think that, we're going to follow Sienna trying to put the pieces together, going through a lot. We're going to see a rough version of Sienna, possibly more flashbacks. I do think that we're going to see Jason Patrick again, another flashback, or potentially on the other side as Sienna's father. And one thing I've been hearing is people believing after Damien confirmed that Jonathan, was killed, people are saying that they think that Jonathan's still alive. Personally, with me, I think that Jonathan, he's definitely dead, but the way he's going to come back is in the form of the new entity being like the Pale Boy. Because previously with Art the Clown's host of evil, it was his victims. Jonathan is one of Art the Clown's previous victims, and he was obviously obsessed with Art the Clown in Terrifier 2 with the Miles County slasher, having a costume on the door. I kind of think, but maybe I'm overthinking, that was foreshadowed on that eventually he will be next to the person he looked up to at a point, being Art the Clown. Now, when they're going down to the pits of hell and everything, I definitely think it's going to be something where we might find out that it's bigger than Art the Clown, because technically, if you really think about it, it is bigger than Art the Clown. Art the Clown is like just the right-hand man of the greater evil. And we seen at this point where Art the Clown gets on a bus with Phil Falcone, and this woman is reading a book called The 9th Circle. Everybody knows the 9th Circle is the darkest part of hell, and it also ties in with one of Damien's earlier films. Now, that tells me that the final battle or whatever, the conclude and ending, is going to take place in hell. And I think with Art the Clown in this, it can go two ways, because I'm kind of confused on this scene. So we see once he honks the horn, it seems like he wakes up, like he's back fueled from the evil entity. Now, the reason I think this can be something that they're kind of showing us is that once Jonathan died and we saw his head in that cage, maybe it took him a while to transfer to the other side, but the moment he transferred to the other side and became that new entity, it gave Art the Clown fuel, and he was back, you know, to supernatural, you know, Art the Clown. But after seeing him at that bus stop at a point, and, you know, him just moping around, it also kind of made me like, okay, are we going to get like Terrifier 1 Art the Clown in this? Is it going to be something where he's looking for a new host and Jonathan's not going to be the new host right out the gate? Is it going to be something where we're just seeing regular serial killer Art the Clown, and that's going to play a big part in his backstory on us kind of finding out why did he start killing, you know, what's going on? And I touched on this in a previous video about basically that newspaper article with the Pale Girl's backstory, Emily Crane, and I'm just talking about her parents being a mime in a circus, and, you know, they were good circus performers. And then eventually they found her dead mangled body in one of the trailers. And first thing I thought about was Art the Clown. He's a mime. And what if that was his daughter? And that's why the cat lady, you know, that connection with him having a little baby doll in his hand, because it made him think about basically what he did to his daughter. And it makes sense because of Sienna's father and what happened to him when he had his accident. They said towards the end of his days, he was acting a little weird and things were getting a little fishy with him. He wasn't himself. So I do think that the dad can step in and give them, like, you know, some help at a point, because he obviously knew about a lot of this because of his comics and his drawings with, you know, Sienna in the warrior costume, the drawings of the demon that she's having. She has the demon's head in her hand. That's what makes me think of a greater evil. We saw a drawing of Art the Clown. Yeah, it really was showing a lot. So I think this could potentially be the best Terrifier in my opinion, and I think that it's going to be the most well written, and I can't wait to see how they just, you know, do this. I've heard people speculate that it's going to be an Easter movie, like the holiday is going to be Easter, especially with hell and everything being involved, the angel and the demon, which it makes sense. But I feel like since it's the fourth one and technically the last one out the franchise, it doesn't have to be a holiday. I do think that we could potentially get a time jump. And, like, you know, like I said, once again, the best movie to compare it to is Halloween 2018, where she's, like, you know, trying to either recover or she's dealing with a lot. And she's just, like, in this mode where she's out looking for Art the Clown. It's not the Sienna that, you know, we seen. And we saw, actually, Victoria get killed by Sienna. And then we seen Art dang near get killed when she stuck the sword in his chest, which removed the supernatural ability. So I think we're going to get some scenes possibly with Gabby, some type of, you know, scenes where we can see some transparency between that character and Sienna, you know, hell and reality. I cannot wait. I think that it's going to be a lot explained, and with Art the Clown's backstory, I think they're going to go all the way back to the circus with Emily Crane. When he said backstory, I think it's going to go back to that night with him having that trash bag going in a pizzeria. What happened before that? And we know we seen actually in Terrifier the point he was getting ready. He was putting like paint on his face. We saw his teeth, and that also made me think about, you know, the circus and everything, how they get themselves together before their act and everything and programming starts. So it kind of just makes me think that's going to be more of the backstory we're going to hear about, and I'm telling you, it's going to be some type of connection with Emily Crane and Art the Clown, but I can be wrong. Also, some stuff with the drawings with the dad are going to definitely be brought up with Sienna, and I think it's going to be deeper than we think when it comes to Sienna's father and Jonathan's father with Art the Clown. It's going to be a crazy reveal, but that's pretty much what I think we can expect. Just one of those stories where, you know, we're going to get a conclude and then possibly we're going to see a greater evil, we're going to see a battle in hell, we're going to see a traumatic and traumatized Sienna, a PTSD suffering Sienna, possibly going to see Jonathan in a different format, possibly the Pale Boy, Art the Clown's possibly, you know, either stronger or weaker, one or the other. I'm thinking more stronger because the new entity is the Pale Boy being Jonathan. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. I'm very excited for Terrifier 4, and I can't wait to see what is going to happen with this story, man. Damien is currently writing it from my knowledge. And yeah, man, anything Terrifier related, I got y'all on the channel, and we're going to be covering it. With that being said, comment down below what y'all think about Terrifier 4 and what could potentially happen. And yeah, you all, I will catch you all in the next one. I want you to watch some horror movies. Stay scary out there. Peace.